right? First things first, always stay hydrated, you know. At this point, we don't know what's going on, but literally when I was about to wake up, like earlier, I just hear like radioactivity pre-recordings, or maybe it was very current and people behind their computers and mics. I have no idea. But they're tampering with government equipment, and that's the shit that creates wars, and they're responsible for mind control. So I want you to be extremely, extremely faithful this point in time, because they're over here making people believe that they can't leave. If they leave, that we die. Like if it's their own source, if it's our own source of living, when it's not. I'm Mr. Roman from the Bible. I predicted the pandemic in 2016 when God told me very directly. And it actually happened in 2020. And it killed tons because people get careless. Now people have too much time in their hands just entertaining shit and not seeing value in anybody else but themselves. That's why we need to remain constant in the good word. And you better believe that God does not take anybody from life. And you better believe and know it, that those idiots messing with your minds can fucking leave. And the only reason why you feel good is when you always ignore those fucking radioactivity idiots. I want you to always stay with God and not on flesh. And I want you to understand how easy it is to catch every motherfucker that does anything wrong in this world. There's nowhere they can go without God being in control of the situation. There's any ways they can think. There's nowhere they can think. You see what they do? They interrupt my speech. There's nothing they can think of doing that they don't base it off of the present day. All the examples given, and God will tell you exactly what they're up to. And they always get caught. And they always die like a fucking bitch. Don't you ever be intimidated. They use our bodies as a conductor, because we have electrolytes. We have magnetic properties in our bloods, iron, magnesium. And they're trying to mess and trying to have power over individuals. They're fucking pieces of shit. Poor leaders. And that's over with. Now you stay on that right direction. Everyone under healthy living standards, you increase those wages healthy. Because all of your families everywhere in the world already released the funds from the equity of the Bible, and it's already a reflection of the motion and the rules that we all have to follow. So you walk with confidence, every single one of you, every family, all of you, every individual, and you care for each other, and you make sure those wages are healthy, increased in a healthy manner. And every business is going to have a mandatory building crew, cleaning crew. We're going to take care of those animals in the sea and all of the surroundings in the ocean with our government officials, with the detainees and correcting. You got to let them know before you embark in a nice, glorious friendships and all of that good stuff. You need to remain constant on education on why certain scenarios are short-lived. Always make, educational movies, horror movies on personalities, real life lessons, all of these outlooks and outcomes, so they'll never forget why we reach mutual understanding, and understanding any stupid ass motive is always going to be short-lived. God promised a great life for every single person, and that's exactly what you're going to get. We're not going to let those fucking idiots that only fucking favor a select handful and lean on flesh, we're not going to let them take control over people like that. And then they try to divert the attention off of them, so they provide people job opportunity to hide behind. So they go to like desperate areas. So don't act on impulse, and it's probably an employee that you know that they employed and they're hiding behind them. So you just do the process of elimination and always provide that job opportunity to work with us side by side. You have a family and a home to provide for, a peaceful life with great friendships, great teamwork skills, a very fruitful life to live. You need to walk with God, because there's been many times where they try to do that like pressure like sensation on like my throat and people's throats, or like they put pressure on our hearts, making it like look like you're gonna have a heart attack when you're perfectly healthy. They do this pressure on your lungs, and it looks like it makes you feel like you can't breathe, but it's like that pressure that they do, and they're scared to die, because everybody's not, they thought they had something to offer. They thought that they were going to be liked or wanted, but nobody in the world is buying that shit. Anyways, just know that they're doing that on purpose, and you're perfectly healthy. You give it to God, and God really makes them suffer. And they hide behind our police, our government officials. They get them before they enter, and then they blend themselves in, acting like they're they see where our troops and government officials are located. They manipulate and harass the surroundings around them, and even to their troops, and then they conflict amongst each other, and then they'll tell this person, you see, I have the army, I have that's because of us. So they intimidate girls and men to keep silent if anybody speaks about what they're trying to do to people. They target people, they target their surroundings and their friends. They inflict trauma on purpose in peaceful environments. And then they have people like arguing amongst each other. They get separated, and then that's how they force somebody into isolation, and then that's when they try to do those mind games on them. So you just stay with God and ignore them. You ignore all of that, because they try to get you with jokes, humor, threats. Just ignore them all completely, and you stay with God. And I don't want to make you have a bitter heart, because it's not our fault. So you make sure you ignore it. You give them God, as firm as God is, and with God, to God every turn. I can't believe anybody would think that's stupid, man. But they will get caught. And look at how they try to blend in. You see? They try to threaten. And they're like headshot, or they take advantage of the fact that we're just living, and they're just focused too much on, taking the obvious advantage. But that's what they think, because everybody in the world is pissed. And they, that's that popping sound that they did, to flip my car over. So, yeah, and they damaged, my construction on the roof with that popping sound. And then they did, they caused plane crashes for no reason. They just have to do that popping sound and, override the mechanicals. And then there's people that are healthy and they feel dizzy, and then they can tamper with your blood pressure, your blood sugars. They'll know your routine and schedule, and it's not even a fucking select handful, man. And they should not be this close to our phones, to our TVs, because if and then they act like they're the ones that got your back after being the problem. So if you're really educated, you'll know that you grasp the perimeter, satellites, you grasp the perimeter, and then you can really know where that shit is coming from, because they obviously created this wave. They put stars, on the sky, and then they tamper with that equipment. Always keep in mind, they're trying to hide because they know they're wrong. So chances are they employed a lot of people in need just to hide behind and make them look guilty, and off they are with the fucking equipment. And then they have that original equipment that they started that shit with. And it's God telling me all of this. I don't know how to do any of that shit, but I don't doubt God, because God told me the pandemic was going to happen, and it actually did. And God created everything that we ever have known. So I know that God will eliminate whoever it is very, very accurately, because everybody deserves a great, unbothered life, a peaceful life. And then they try to electrocute our lips, our face, with shockings, and after they override our bodies, using us as a conductor. And just know, once they get eliminated, nobody does that, because you will get caught very, very quick. It was the stupidest thing anybody thought of doing to people. And they're gonna suffer every single fucking day. A quick death is not even, the half of it. Anyways, as I was saying, just make sure that, that you always, trust in God, and God is the only reason in life that should say it all. You ignore them, and then now you can breathe, and you feel happy, and you're full of hope with a great life to live. So understand, you see how I said with a great life to live, and then when I said to live, they interrupted my speech. Anyways, just make sure, that you always stay on that right direction. And there's going to be a lot of diseases that are going to go extinct, and all the healthy patterns, we're going to the next planet and the next planet. Very healthy. All of our service members know it does not define our military, our police, our border patrol. All of these things do not define us when it's only not even a handful that probably got paid by a label, and then we already have, all of our families already have, great relationships worldwide. So it's nothing to like confuse one of our employees. Like, dude, I don't know why they think that. And then off war starts, and then that's not even half of it, because we know the good word and strategies to never see crime in real life, so they can probably manipulate it and then derail the attention totally off of them. And then who suffers the repercussions? The people on the ground, when we know there was never a problem. It was only that he say, she say, and then everybody freaks out over their own paranoia, and then they escalate matters, and then now they become a healthcare risk. Dude, shit gets real really quick. So to be honest, that, whatever's going on, needs to be eliminated. Because there's women I'm hearing that is happening to us, and they can't even explain it. They're like saying, I can't breathe. Dude, sometimes I can't even breathe when they're doing that pressure shit. Just give it to God and you'll be fine. They said they were gonna kill me, the other week. But God is bigger than that. And they know they're dead before they even get close to anybody. Because people that do dumb shit, they're so predictable. Don't ever forget that. They are so fucking predictable. Every single time. You keep training and preparing for situations you'll never see. But when you know how to live and know how to never see shit again, we're more prepared than you always entertaining shit. Through great relationships and even the shit you present ourselves. See how powerful great relations is? Disease prevention. Not even the military, law enforcement, all combined all over the world. They're not even a fucking challenge. They service for the population and the masses, with all of our families and their families, all of our families together, working together, making sure everybody's under healthy living standards. Someone was a bitch, that didn't know how to lead, a false image of a man. Believed somebody that obviously didn't value your life, that thought you were a piece of shit through radio. All they had to say was, oh, it's us, or yep, it's us. That's not the military. That's not the police. That is not Border Patrol. Just so we're very clear. We take care of people. We aid in their suffering. We make sure we build a big home for them. We provide job opportunities and correction. This builds trust, understanding, great equity, great friendships, and opportunities to teach new languages all over the globe. That's the only big cities and a luxurious life thrive on great relationships and reaching common ground and understanding and trust. The very healthiest way. The people that have their head way too far up their asses, when they get a sneak peek of $1, you should tell them it stops, or they lose their life over chaos that they created. And nobody was bothering them. Everybody left them alone. Cook, clean, harvest, keep our marine life and foods healthy and always replanted. Animals must be showered regularly. I want all police, military, border patrols making movies, spreading the good word in real life cases and real life horrific outcomes. Make it look super, super horrific so everybody will always be reminded how short-lived certain things get. It's the reminders and understanding that remain constant that eliminate crime in real life. We're going to legalize all drugs, healing plants, brews, foods, because in reality our drugs are our foods. It comes from food and natural resources from the earth. You can test positive on a drug test off of eating food. We have salty foods that can act as a, medication to induce those healthy blood flow and raise your blood pressure the healthy way. I want you to understand how stupid they are. They're still trying to get away. Dude, even when you least expect it, they're at it because they're afraid to fucking die. Alright? Like they're always trying to make it look like they have something to do with all of the great progress we all build together. They're fucking pieces of shit. And they'll never be needed in life. Anyways, just make sure that, everything's legalized and then it's cared for with our government officials, with the detainees, understanding the importance of our consumption, because what you give out, that's what you're eating. Water must be cleaned if necessary, even to give you that extra comfort. You can refilter it, reburn it, and do the process again an extra time. Now that we have everybody involved, cleaner water, cleaner foods, cleaner oceans, disease completely extinct, because we're taking care of our animals, because our surroundings and our environment affects our overall health, and it acts as a poison to our bloodstream. So the environment and surroundings justifies our overall health and our animals' health. It's very, very clear. A lot of you were just like taking it for granted and then adapting to medications just to adapt to the sick. You need to stop and really know how you're breathing and living. New life produces extremely rapidly. We have all the healthy ways to never see it, guaranteed, because there's a good person in everyone. Get to work, literally. And whoever is literally out here messing with people's heads and like harassing our women and men in secret, dude, you're a bitch. Whoever you are. And you deserve to suffer and burn in hell for all eternity. And it will happen because God says it. And I don't doubt God for a second. We're not going to make sure that nobody goes into hell, because life will always live. That's the reality of things. We will never die. With God, we will never die. It's just phases of life, and off you go to the next phase of life. It's all life. Nobody is playing games. Death was educational. And you'll always be reminded, because then you start taking advantage and taking your fruits for granted. And it can get very, very lethal, very toxic, very innocently deadly for no reason. So remain constant on the good word. Damn, dude, everybody was always like listening, following the rules. I don't know why some of you were that stupid and selfish to do that to life. You need to walk with God. Get the fuck out of everybody's head.